Growing up in Steventown. I'm Neil Haley, the son of Wyatt and Dorothy Haley, a grandson of Jesse and Frederica Haley. I live at what we call Haley Hill, which is on top of the mountain on Route 43 before you start descending down to Steventown Center. I have one brother, Frederick Haley. I have wonderful memories of growing up in this rural area. The elementary school I attended is now closed, and I hear it may be turned into apartments. I graduated from Berlin Central School and went on to college in Canandaigua, then returned to Steventown to marry, build a house, and raise two children, Elise and Jesse. I recall the West Steventown Community Center, which has now fallen down, but the remnants still remain. We would walk or ride our bikes to the covered dish suppers. As a family, we spent many nights having potluck dinners provided by the residents nearby. I remember once a year, oyster stew was created by one of the members with the special white bowls, pepper, milk, butter, and oysters. Secret recipe. One of my other favorite memories is that of ice skating in the winter, a lost pastime replaced by electronic devices, and fishing at Stone Bridge Pond, which is between our house and Snow's farm. As a young child, my Aunt Norma lived with us, and I saw firsthand the courting ritual of her and my now Uncle Joe, as called Uncle Bill. I remember well his '57 Chevy. They were married at our house in front of the fireplace. I have pictures of this somewheres in boxes. Aunt Norma and Uncle Joe play a significant part in my life now. More importantly are my memories of my father Wyatt and his love of farming and always having livestock to tend. He said it gave him reason to get up in the morning and tend the stock. Unfortunately, farming among the rocks was not a profitable undertaking. The house I now live in is the cow barn where he raised and milked his own. I converted the barn 2 years ago with the love of my life, Rose. As a child, my mother would bring us to the barn to help Dad with the milking and feeding of the cows. As we grew, I recall shoveling more cow poop and spreading it on the fields with Dad's John Deere tractor. Dad took his milk cans and picked up milk cans from other local farmers to deliver to the Chatham Creamery. Dad's cans were number 14. I know this because I use the milk cans today in my kitchen as stools. My grandfather Jesse and my Uncle Doug Williams, Mom's brother, would always be there to help Dad with the haying and corn silage when needed. Mom would communicate with Dad with old crank phones, one in the house and one in the barn. Just recently we discovered them. The milk house still stands today with a cooler and all the cans he used. Eventually it will become Rose's Floral Shop. It too has its history. Dad loved his donkeys. Years ago, we used to get a lot of snow, and the donkeys would chew on the shingles because there was so much snow that we couldn't reach them. You can still see where they did that, as we have not reshingled it. I can still hear Dad saying how much he loved the meadow, and that he could see from his kitchen window, and hope that one day there would be horses there again. Yes, we had horses, and I still have his horse-drawn sleigh. As a teen, I would take my dates for horseback rides up to the power lines. No more needs to be said about that. That's personal. My grandmother, as we fondly called Mimi, lived across the street from the barn, and at one time, now torn down, was the ice cream parlor, which was run by my great-grandmother, Mary Wixom, called Hilltop Ice Cream Parlor, where they sold gas to Model Ts and pecan rings to travelers. It was a dangerous drive down the mountain to Steventown Center to the general store and post office to deliver baked goods because great-grandmother Wilson was not a good driver. After Grandma Wixom, I would help Mimi as a young child to bake those Sunday coffee cakes, and at Christmas I was there to help with cookies. I have many fond memories of Mimi and Grandpa Jesse. It used to be okay to sit and watch a baseball game on Sundays or listen to it on the radio, as I did many times with my grandfather, or spend the afternoon waxing his car in the shade. Nobody does these things anymore. Every Sunday, it was wash day with the washing machine in the basement and clotheslines in the backyard to pin up the laundry. My mother worked out of the house as a hairdresser. She was always there when we got off the bus, and dinner was always homemade, including the pizza. As I grew up, there was the hunting adventures with my dad and his friends and relatives. As we were hunting in the morning, the women were cooking and indulging in a little wine while they prepared our feast. It was different back then. Upstairs they were cooking, and downstairs we were telling stories and having a few and getting warmed up by the wood stove. Dad took many hunting trips, one to Canada where he shot the largest illegal elk on record. Yes, illegal. They let him keep the horns and his gun after paying a substantial fine. In my house, I have hanging over my fireplace the head of one of the caribou that he shot in Alaska, and in my kitchen over my refrigerator are the horns of another. He loved hunting and had many stories. I remember a community where everyone knew each other and frequented the local establishments. Today, we go to Pittsfield or Sand Lake to get groceries. Back then, we had Sykes Store, which had everything. We school shopped at the small stores on North Street in Pittsfield, and today we shop online or in a mall. I really miss the way things were. I recall Mimi taking me to England Brothers and Bessie Clark's on North Street for my 1970s style shoes and bell-bottom pants for the first day of school attire. Yuck. I've adjusted to the way life is now. I converted my house into apartments, and Dad helped me build another 3-unit apartment building below the barn. At 65, I look forward to giving my property to my children and enjoying retirement. And that's from Neil Haley.